A very good morning to Principal Ma'am, Dr. Preeta Malia, Vice Principal, Dr. Edwin Barreto, Head of the Computer Science Department, Mr. Sumit Kumar, panelists, students and parents. A very warm welcome to the panel discussion on career roadmap in IT sector organized by the Department of Computer Science, Vidya Vikas Mandal's Shree Damodar College of Commerce and Economics. VVM's Shree Damodar College has entered in the 50th year since its inception in 1973 and has grown rapidly as a reputed and widely recognized and reputed institution for its excellence in the field of education. The college pursues for academic excellence, offering diverse quality education to create knowledgeable, skilled, and upright citizens. We at Sri Damodar College believe in imparting holistic education for the all-round development of students' personalities by nurturing their talent and skill development. Now I request our principal, Professor Dr. Preeta Malia, to deliver the welcome address.
Thank you, Annette, and a very warm welcome to our panelists, Mrs. Ekta Agarwal, Chinmay Kamath, Sridhar Zambodkar, and Mr. Darshan Goradia. I don't see him, but I'm assuming he's there. We're really happy to welcome all of you. Yes, Mr. Darshan, I saw you now. Very happy to welcome all of you to this this session that we have for students. This is something that we started during the pandemic because there was no other way to reach out to students who are planning to join the college. But we found that it works really well. And what we normally do after students join the college is that we have career sessions for them, but those become more focused in specific areas. So we thought that this would be a good outreach activity for the college where we address concerns of students who may not even join the college, but who would be looking at, what could they possibly do if they pursue a degree in computer applications or in commerce, whatever. So we have these different sessions, and I think it does help to some extent. Computer science, as all these students, that we have some 450 students who have joined the groups, the various groups that have been formed. Now, the whole world knows that technology is going to be the driving force of the world, the globe, for a very long time to come. And it has to be integrated into every aspect of our working and our homes as well. So there is no limit to the kind of careers that people can make, young students can make once they complete programs or complete their degrees in IT or computer science. So I've said that, and I would welcome all the panelists. There could be students I know who have questions in respect of the NEP. This is another big uncertainty and unknown that has entered into everyone's lives. So I'll take those questions at the end. I don't want to, take into your time. So I would request the Annette to start with the panel discussion. And if students have any questions about NEP and what it means for the BCA or the BWOC program, you can post them in the chat box and I'll take all those questions at the end. Just one request to the panelists. We are having another session for the management, the BBA, starting at 12 o'clock. So I might leave around 11:55 and I'll join back again after I start that session. Yeah? Thank you and welcome once again to the students as well as the panelists. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Requesting the HOD of Department of Computer Science, Mr. Sumit Kumar, to provide an overview of the BCA and BWOC programs.
Hi, good morning, Principal Ma'am, Vice Principal of the college, Dr. Edwin Barreto, Computer Science Chairperson, our panelists, dear students, it's my privilege to give you a brief overview of the programs that our computer science department is offering.
While Sumit is sharing, I would also like to mention that the college is 50 years old and the department is 25 years old. So we have both reached milestones. And Ekta was a part of our department for a very long time. And Sridat for 2 years. Yes.
Yeah, welcome back. I, as a HOD of Computer Science Department, would like to give you a brief overview of the programs that our college is offering through Computer Science Department. We started a BCA program in 1997, and we were the first college to start this program in the state of Goa. And also in 2019, we were the first college to start the BWalk in Software Technologies program. Now coming to BCA program, as ma'am has already mentioned, we have already completed 25 years of successful journey, and it is one of the best options for students desirous of successful career in IT sector. Now, from this year onwards, we will be following NEP 2020 curriculum, which will be a sound blend of theory, practical, and skill components. There will be continuous evaluation, strong emphasis on skill and holistic development. Currently, we have 80 seats, and admission is based on the merit list prepared on the basis of aptitude test. Now, giving you a broad overview of the program structure, we have major courses, minor courses, multidisciplinary courses, ability enhancement courses, skill enhancement courses, value-added courses, and summer internship, and of course, project is one of the integral part. Now, coming to distinctive feature of BCA that we offer in our college, we have internship linked assignments, industry-based projects for TY students under the mentorship of IT professionals, brief courses in problem solving, reasoning, and mathematics, coaching and training to answer BCA and MCA and MBA entrance examination. We are having MOU with IT companies and FIRE, that is Forum for Innovation, Incubation, Research, and Entrepreneurship. We also provide training on latest tools and technologies through webinars, add-on certificate courses. Few I have mentioned over here, like data science, then Android, Python programming, Hadoop. Now, teaching and training, we for the main courses, basically we have in-house and visiting faculty members. For projects, in-house and industry professionals. Add-on skill courses we impart through industry professionals. Soft skills and value systems, corporate trainers and professionals we have impaneled. Now, these are some view of training and teaching that we do for BCA program. Now, coming to certifications, these are the things that our students have done in past 2 years. 21-22, 268 certification they have obtained, and in 22-23 you can see it has increased to 400 plus certifications. On an average, 10 BCA students every year they complete internship with IT companies. Coming with placements, 3 years back, 2 our students got selected in SAP. Then during pandemic time also, our students were getting placed. In 21-22, 4 final year students who opted got placement, and 22-23 it's already going on. Now coming to higher education, last 3 years data, if we see, around 20 students have cleared MC entrance examination of Goa University. 3 final year students joined MSc Data Analytics at AIMT St. Aloysius, Mangalore in 21, and 2-3 days back they have graduated also with flying colors from there. Now coming to 21-22 batch, 3 students have joined MSc Data Science at Reva University, Bangalore. 1 joined Web Designing and Development at Aponics, Bangalore. 1 student is pursuing law at a very own our own campus, that is GR College of Law. Now these are certain achievements of our students. Now coming to BWOC Software Technologies program that our college is offering. As I mentioned that we are the first college who started this program in 2019, and it is again one of the best option for our students who wants to make career in IT domain. It is following National Skills Qualification Framework of India. It is judicious mix of skill-based courses and general education courses. And it is adapted, skill-based courses are adapted from Sector Skill Council NASCOM, and it is well complemented with general education courses, and also it has value and attitude conducive courses which make them a good citizenship. So for this program we have 40 seats, and admission is based on the aggregation of 40% of the marks that you have achieved at 12th level, and 60% of the weightage is given to aptitude assessment marks. Now, distinctive features, if I'm going to talk about, it has multiple employable exit points. Skill courses assessment are done by Sector Skill Council NASCOM, and of course, who clears with good marks, they get certificates also. It aims to create trained manpower with the employability skills and capabilities in the job role of junior software developer, web developer, associate desktop publisher, wherein students also gain opportunity to learn about graphic designing and UI development, software application development, and of course, if they want, they can pursue a career as entrepreneurs. It is a mix of around 70% of the syllabus which is practical based, and it is having skill focused projects, internship, and on the job training every semester. Approximately 90% of the syllabus from IT or its allied field. We are having MOUs and association to facilitate training and assessment for this. Hello, sorry, it was muted. So approximately 70% of the syllabus is practical based, skill focused projects, internship, and on the job training. Approximately 90% of the syllabus is from allied field. We are having MOUs and association with companies for training and assessment, job oriented skill component teaching and training we offers, and there is skill certification after successful clearing of the qualification pack. Coming to teaching and training, we have in-house and visiting faculty members for general component courses. For technical courses, we have people from industry as well. And for generic skills, we have corporate trainers, health professionals, industry professionals, and entrepreneurs. If we see last 3 years performance, 89 students have received training in dealing with workplace health and hazards and emergencies. 90 plus students have completed their internship successfully. 78 certificate courses were successfully completed by our students in 21-22, and in 22-23, 19 students have completed on the job training in 4 IT companies. Talking about NESCOM certification, 89 students are certified junior software developer, 44 students are certified web developer, 11 students are associate DTP, and 4 students have successfully certified as software developer. First batch graduated in 21-22, out of which 1 student joined MCA data science at Pune. 1 student joined VFX Prime at Arena Animation Bangalore, and 2 students got off-campus placement, and 1 student has freelanced himself as a software developer and media designer. Our program structure is based on NSQF levels. Just a minute, this is some problem with projection. I think now it is visible. So program structure is based on NSQF levels. We have general education courses in computer science, reasoning, logic, and creative thinking. Skill-based courses is based on qualification packs. Basically, that is on junior software developer, web developer, associate DTP, and software developer. We have skill-based generic courses, again part of qualification pack, and also it has projects, internship, and on-the-job training. Now, little bit, I will talk about the Department of Computer Science, how we have the things. We have MOU with all these partners: NASCOM, Umang, GTA, Hashtag, CodeMax, SS Technologies, 91HR, and all. We also offer interest-free laptop loan scheme for our students. We started last year. Wi-Fi offer connectivity to our students, focus on skills internship and application development, industry mentor projects, bridging the gap between academia and industry through MOUs and its implementation. We have visiting faculty from industry and IT professionals, good infrastructure. We have rich collection of library resources. We also conduct study tours, field trips, and industry visits, workshops, seminars, and certificate courses in latest technologies. Participation at various intercollegiate levels, events at state and national level. We have a tech club called Tech Trends, through which we conduct different activities. Last year, we have conducted Tech Week 2023, which was again a state level mega event. We had a series of events over there. Coming to recruitment. Coming to recruitment, our students are placed in well-known IT companies, which are presented over here. And these are the learning methodology that we follow in our campus. So just have a glance with over here. You can make out like what are the activities that we do.
Sumit, I think the screen is not visible to others, but I think you're finished, no? We can start with the panel discussion, and afterwards, if they want, we can show it to the students later. Yeah, since the experts are waiting, maybe there is an internet problem, but I think your screen is not visible. So maybe we should start with the panel discussion.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, everyone. I'll share the PPT with you later on at the end.
Thank you, Sumit, for briefing our audience. The distinguished panelists for today's discussion are prominent in their respective field of expertise. Our first panelist is Mrs. Ekta Agarwal, CEO and founder of SS Technologies, a software development company providing end-to-end IT solutions. In the past, Mrs. Ekta has served as an assistant professor at VVM Shree Damodar College. Presently, she is the chairperson of the Computer Science Council of Shree Damodar College and is very passionate about bridging the gap between industry and academia. Women empowerment and entrepreneurship is another area close to her heart. We welcome you, Mrs. Ekta Agarwal, requesting you to share a few words with our audience.
Ekta, you're muted.
Thank you, Annette. At the onset, I'd like to thank Principal Dr. Preeta Malya, Program Coordinator HOD Mr. Sumit Kumar for inviting me to be a part of this discussion. It's always a pleasure connecting back. So let me just start with focusing here on the paradigm shift now. Till a couple of years ago, we were all talking about the right to education. And finally, now we are talking about the right education. So this paradigm shift, I'm sure is going to be of a great benefit, and looking forward to, now having more employable employable students coming out of our education system. All of us know that the right education is the stepping stone to a bright future. And if we have to do something for our future, we got to start with it right away. And obviously, we have around 100 participants here. All of them know that they have to make a right choice here at this point in time. And obviously, that's the reason they are here. uh, I mean, if you just look at it, IT is a driving force. Dr. Preeta Malia has also just mentioned it. It's a driving force behind every industry. If you, I mean, whether you look at hospitality, you look at e-governance, banking, e-commerce, you look at any sector, and you'll find IT driving. The IT is a driving force there. So there is one very obvious thing which comes out here is that IT is one area which is giving you the maximum job opportunities and also areas and domains to choose from. Like, say, if you don't really want to get hardcore technical, you can get into UI, UX, you can just be a software developer, you can just you get into software testing. So there are a lot of opportunities here which IT is offering. So I personally, as an opening remark, would just say that if you're passionate about IT, and if you're looking out for a career in IT, I'm sure you'll find yourself where you want to be. Yeah. Yes, Annette, you can take it.
Thank you, Mrs. Ekta. The second panelist is Mr. Chinmay Kamath, Chief Operating Officer at Copper Codes Consulting LLP and a Managing Committee member, Goa Technology Association. Mr. Chinmay is a strategic business leader with more than 5 years of experience in client services, business process improvement, operations, and customer success. Mr. Chinmay is also a passionate badminton player, having represented Goa at various level tournaments. We welcome you, Mr. Chinmay.
Thank you so much, Ms. Annette. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Yeah. Hi. So, a very good morning to the principal of Damodar College, Miss Preeta Malia, my fellow panelists, and all the other students and the other officials of the Damodar College who are present here. So it's been great that I've been invited as one of the panelists over here. So one thing I would like to majorly focus on is that before I start give my viewpoint on what the career roadmap in IT sector would be, is that it is great that Damodar College has come up with such a session for the aspirants into the IT sector, because I remember when I was in college, there were no such sessions, and it was, I mean, we were clueless on what is to be done. Even if we would want to have a career in the IT domain, it would, I mean, there was no one to guide us. So now that the students or the aspirants have the opportunity, I would say, use it to your fullest, and probably get into the IT domain, because it is huge. Okay, so basically creating a career roadmap in IT sector is very crucial. So it involves acquiring relevant skills, basically staying updated with emerging technologies and embracing continuous learning, because of AI, ML, everything are coming into pictures. Okay, you're basically, when people talk about AI, you specialize in those areas like data science, cybersecurity, and cloud computing. Because and by understanding these languages, you can position yourself for success. So also adaptability, your soft skills, and networking are also, or will be rather, very vital for your long term growth in this very rapidly evolving industry. So IT is one industry which is, again, as I just said, it is evolving, and you need to keep yourselves updated. So thank you once again for inviting me.
Thank you, Mr. Chinmay. Our next panelist is Mr. Shree Zambodkar, founder CEO of Intio Software Labs Private Limited, a technology consultancy that transforms businesses by generating ideas, building products, and providing innovative solutions for digital transformation. Mr. Sridath has more than 10 years of experience in mobile application development, web development, Android and iOS development, cloud application development, and software testing. As Prita ma'am, our principal mentioned that Mr. Sridath was associated with our college for 2 years as a lecturer. We welcome you, Mr. Sridath, requesting you to enlighten our audience with a few words.
Thank you so much, Ms. Hennett, for a beautiful introduction. And thank you, Preeta ma'am, HOD Sumit sir, and the rest of the panelists for having me here. I'd just like to begin the conversation overall with a thought that, like, if we were to go 2 or 3 years back and look at the pandemic, like, literally for everybody, the thing that came to the rescue was IT. Like, even this particular discussion right now is at everybody's disposal because we have a tool called as Google Meet or any video conferencing platform, which is made possible by the IT industry itself. And congratulations to the college on bringing such a beautiful thought of wedding the industry professionals with the curriculum, and, like, trying to be open in terms of ideas that they can execute with this merge happening. Every single time that I've worked with the Department of Computer Science in Damodar College, I was in awe because, like, nobody else, none of the other colleges are doing it at this particular depth. Of course, the change makers are Damodar College, and the events that you guys are organizing, like, to make the merge happen and make students more comfortable with the industry connect, I think is a true sign of great leadership. And I think for the students, majorly, like, to be four-footed into this particular industry, all that it takes is self-interest, honestly, because it's vast. It has various different niches that you can venture into. Damodar College and its course is only going to expose you at the surface level. And one good thing that the college has been doing is, like, being very vocal about self-learning, that is utilizing your own laptops. They're even providing students with interest-free loans and free access to internet on campus, which means, like, beyond your curriculum, you can go out once you know a particular niche, once you have connected with any industry professional, you can go out, self-learn, like, come up with more questions, and then on develop your overall portfolio, which is what is needed for this particular world that we live in. So with that, I close my opening statements. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Sridath. Our fourth panelist is Mr. Darshan Goradia, founder and managing director at 91 HR, Goa's premier HR consultancy company specializing in IT recruitment, non-IT recruitment, payroll, and training services for industry-ready resources. Besides that, Mr. Darshan is actively involved with Invicta eSolutions, a leading provider of BPO, recruitment, and web and software development services in Goa. He is also associated with Edu Advice International, a full-service overseas education consultancy, ND Global Solutions dealing with jobs abroad, and Organized Business Services, an award-winning digital transformation and customer experience management company. We welcome you, Mr. Darshan, requesting you to put forth your thoughts to the audience.
Hi, good morning to everyone present here today. Thank you, Annette, for the introduction. And I'd like to thank everyone here on the panel along with me, Dr. Ms. Preeta Malia ma'am, and the HOD, Mr. Sumit Kumar, for considering me to be a part of this panel. The wonderful views shared by the other panelists on why IT is expected to be the future, why IT, because of its vastness and the use case that it has going forward with emerging technologies, the constant development of new things like AI, ML, like Chinmay mentioned, is going to transform how we live our lives. I'd like to expand on something that Mr. Sridath mentioned. He brought up this point about COVID and how it's brought about the change. I think in our lifetimes, this is going to be a pivotal moment because although IT was moving up the ranks in terms of what you do professionally, COVID has kind of supercharged that movement forward. Like Shreedat mentioned, what helped us sustain, what helped us survive as a country is our ability to, have resources that are excellent at. We are known as the outsourcing capital of the world. I think going forward with the advent of AI and ML, we're obviously going to have to continue upskilling. And if you're not a part of this revolution, very likely you may get left behind. So it's wonderful. There's so much interest among students to know about what lies ahead for them in this space if they take this up as their curriculum. And again, for Sri Damodar College, I think this outreach program is an excellent initiative that educates these students on what they're getting into rather than just blindly getting into it. So kudos to you guys, everyone in the management, and thank you so much for having me on board once again. Thank you, Annette.
Thank you, Mr. Darshan. We will now proceed with the panel discussion. The students can post their questions in the chat box. The question will be addressed during the question and answer session. My first question goes out to Mrs. Ekta Agarwal. As the state of Goa is gearing up to implement the national education policy, from the coming academic year, 23-24, in what ways will the students benefit from the changes brought about by the NEP in the IT education system?
Okay, yeah. So let me start with, let's just look back at how industry has evolved. Probably, education has to be in pace with the industry. So industry, if you look at industry 1.0, we started with mechanized, motorized equipment, right? Motorized equipment. Finally moved on to production line, automation. And today we are talking about AI, ML, robotics, blockchain, augmented reality, virtual reality. So industry has evolved drastically, actually. And if you look at education, we are still, till a couple of years ago, till before NEP happened, right? We were still in our conventional, traditional way, where we were still on to with, had a rigid boundaries between science, commerce, and arts. At the same time, we had very, very rigid. Since I come from the academic background, I know that, we were bound to a certain curriculum, we were bound to a certain way of assessment, which was not really justifiable. So when you look at this gap between the industry and the academia, I think NEP is the right step in this direction, and I'm sure it's going to help. So actually, if you see some of the few features of NEP, one thing is it breaks the rigid boundaries between these subjects. So if you're studying a science subject, you're not just confined to science, you can pick up a subject from commerce, right? You can, because see, eventually IT is now catering to all the industries. So it's not just that, just the science subjects which would, kind of help you in this. So now you can select subjects from commerce, you can select subject from arts. So this is the most important highlight of NEP is that it is multidisciplinary. So if you want, say, for example, if we are talking about a combination of, say, data science with psychology, understanding behavioral patterns, economics, these are some kind of combinations now we can pick up. So that is one very, very important advantage which the students have now. So they're not restricted to a certain domain. More so, not everyone likes just, has the option to just pick up subject from science now. So that is one thing. Besides that, I think they are focusing more now on blended learning, the pedagogy which you follow. So that is again another very important thing here in NEP. It's flexible. The students can select from various pools. Like you have ability enhancement courses, you have skill enhancement courses, you have majors, you have minors, you have value added courses. So from all these different domains, students can pick up subjects and kind of plug and play with options which they like, so you have an option to choose something you like, which we never had earlier. I mean, which students never had. So whether you want to be a designer or whether you want to be a front-end developer or a back-end developer, you had to study computer networking, you had to study operating systems, you had to study data structures. So that's not what it is now. You can decide which particular vertical you want to, and select subjects accordingly. So I think that's one very, very important thing. Besides that, focus on internships, because eventually, especially in computers, I mean, especially in this line of IT, which is very, very dynamic and forever changing, it's important that the students stay in pace with what's happening. And this internship, I think, helps to bridge this gap between industry and academia, because it's kind of a reality check where you understand what the industry really needs. So, and of course, then it has multiple exit points. So at any point in time, a student decides, say after a year, if they decide to quit, they get a certificate. Unlike now, the concept of dropout is no longer there. So if you complete a 1-year course, you get a certification, an advanced certification in the second year, a degree, and a honors degree towards the end. So I think all in all, it's a very positive positive approach. I'm sure should help, especially since it accommodates that triple helix model which we always talk about, that is the industry, the university, and the academia. So the industry, government, and the academia together are putting things together. I'm sure it's going to work. So it should help the students. Yeah, Anil.
Thank you, Mrs. Ekta, for briefing our students and the parents about NEP. Moving to the next question, which is for Mr. Chinmay. How has digital transformation impacted various careers? And in what ways has digital transformation created new job roles and career paths?
Okay. So a very interesting question to start with. Now, when you say how has digital transformation impacted various careers? Now, this question, if I have to answer, I would say that digital transformation has a has had a very profound impact on various careers. Okay, basically, it has revolutionized the way work is done, and it has created a lot of new job roles and career paths. So, what has happened is, I would summarize, or I mean, this is a very vast topic, so I will focus majorly on three main topics. My first topic is again information technology, second is marketing and advertising, and third is manufacturing and supply chain. Because these are the topics of my expertise, because we have been closely working with clients and we have our own products in these domains. Okay, so now when you say information technology, let me start with my first example. So in information technology, what has happened is digital transformation again has dramatically changed the IT landscape, as I said earlier. So in this, the traditional IT roles such as our network administrators, our system analysts, okay, have slowly evolved into incorporate cloud computing, big data analytics, cybersecurity, and artificial intelligence. So IT professionals, because of this, now need to possess skills in managing and integrating complex technologies, which they have to make sure that they ensure data security. And because security nowadays has become very important because of a lot of cybersecurity attacks happening here. So you have to be very sure about the security and leveraging AI and automation to streamline operations. So now, when I say information technology and how transformation has impacted this particular career, is that I would start by giving a small example of a product what we have. So what happened was about a couple of years back, what we noticed was at various star hotels, they used to display this digital display solutions where they had a lot of manpower who used to use pen drives and go and connect the pen drives to display their signages. So it was a job which could be done using IT in a very simple manner. So they had just kept two people to upload a signage by putting content in a pen drive, climbing the ladder, putting the content, coming down again. So what we did was we basically simplified the entire thing, wherein we used a mobile application which was loaded into an Android box, and you could display content remotely. So we have the screens across around 50 to 60 places across Goa, majorly across five stars in Goa. So what happens is you can control any of these signages sitting at your house or anywhere across the world. So this has created a job opportunity in the IT sector. Okay, so very uh, the work which two three people would do just by manually going and uploading a signage can merely be now be done by sitting at home. So the way it has created a job opportunity in an IT company like us is we need people to improvise this software because it needs continuous development. And I just said about security and everything. So this needs to be taken care. So in my first topic, this is how a job opportunity has been created in information technology. Now, my second major point is marketing and advertising. Okay, this is again a topic of our expertise because we have been into marketing and advertising. So, what happens is earlier, what used to happen is, I mean, the way digital transformation has completely transformed is that like traditional methods like print ads and TV commercials have been completely replaced by digital marketing strategies such as social media marketing, search, SEO, content marketing. And nowadays, the best thing happening, I mean, everyone might be noticing is that is what is called as influencer marketing. And people who get into influencer marketing and know how it is to be done are minting money nowadays because that, I mean, if you see their followers and with one post, they reach out to a lot of people. Okay. So now, again, let me supplement what I have said with again an example of a real life example of what we have achieved. So initially, when yeah, I mean, we have developed an app for this nightclub called as Tito's in Goa. I mean, everyone might be aware about it. So what happened was initially uh, they used to just paint different walls. They used to do marketing and everything. Now what happened in that time when this used to be done, the downloads of the app were again thereabouts of around 5,000. So the moment we got into SEO, we got into social media marketing. Now we are clocking a download of around nearly about 50,000 people plus. So again, it has created a job opportunity where we, as Miss Ekta has rightly said, we have hired interns initially. I mean, she said that you need to get into internship. So we have hired interns initially, trained them into SEO, content marketing, influencer marketing, and that's where after the internship we have hired most of them on board so that I mean the best of them on board so that they can take this further, the marketing part further and create their own career in marketing and advertising. And my last example about is into marketing and supply chain, which is a concept which is very close to my heart. So what happens is that digital transformation again has led to an advent of industry 4. I mean, this is the 4.0 industry, which is characterized by automation. So Internet of Things, another thing is what we have closely worked with. Okay, so smart factories. What happens is in manufacturing industries where the machines communicate with each other. Okay, they enable real time monitoring. So there is a concept called as predictive maintenance. So so what happens is earlier in your old primitive methods, the machine used to get worn out in manufacturing industries and all needs to then get into repairing where the entire industry used to come to a standstill and it used to add to a lot of losses. So nowadays what we do is we have a concept called as predictive maintenance. Again, we have created job opportunities in this because this is a system wherein there is a product what is connected to all machines in industries who choose to use this product, and you can predict when the machine is going to get worn out beforehand, so that you can have the maintenance done beforehand. So again, there are this is a as I said earlier, this is a large topic. I could just focus on three main topics on how digital transformation has impacted careers and how it has provided great opportunities. So these three were the major topics what I thought of highlighting. So um, uh, uh, this is majorly what I had. So if there is any questions on what I have spoken, I would be happy to take them ahead, maybe the end of the session.
Thank you, Mr. Chinmay, for putting light on digital transformation impacting IT careers and focusing on marketing, advertising, and supply chain with real life examples. Before I continue, audience, please feel free to post your questions in the chat box, which will be taken up during the question and answer session. My next question is directed to Mr. Sridhar. As you have been closely associated with the IT industry, what are the IT or industry expectations from the students, and what are the must-have skills for entry-level IT professionals?
Great. Thank you so much for the question, Miss Annette. So I think I would like to start with much of a personal experience from my early careers, my early years in the career. Sorry. Back in the days, when I got started, I always had this I can do and I will do attitude. So that's a must. And during curriculum as well, when you are trying to venture into literally anything, be it a programming language that you want to learn, or maybe a design skill that you want to pick up. If you have that attitude with you, you're going to move ahead. And it generally applies to any life skill, basically. Does not necessarily limit to the curriculum, or even in your career. So can do and I will do attitude, that's something that I look for, honestly. The next thing that I look very closely is how well a person can communicate, because if you can communicate, basically you can win over the world. The famous example is whenever you get into any particular job, people will ask you to sell them something, maybe sell them a pen. And if you can articulate a value prop for the person listening into you, and they get convinced with whatever that you've pitched, basically all that it takes is to move ahead. When I say communication skills, it has to be both balanced with written as well as verbal, and it only comes with practice. Most of the times in my early days in student life, I used to be the guy who would go mum whenever I was asked to be at a presentation stage or whatever. But slowly, as and when I got subjected to various different meetings or various different situations where you have to actually go in and communicate about yourself, or the work that you're doing, or whatever that you want to present. It kind of built up for me, and then I'm at this particular level at the moment. So early on, that you tend to subject yourself to the deep waters while you swim through this particular phase of your life. Automatically you tend to get comfortable doing it on and on. And then finally, focusing back on IT, I think there are various different niches that one can pick up. Maybe they can pick up security, they can pick up data analysis, they can pick up programming, they can pick up system administration or network administration. No matter which particular niche that you might be picking into, the fundamentals are a must, because if you know your fundamentals well, that means you can progress much easier into the later stage of your career, which is where you get try to get more involved into certifications, or maybe even as a part of your job itself, you may be subjected to training, and you get exposed to a lot more info, which may be particular to that particular industry, company, or even the product that you're working with. So all in all, I think it kind of bundles up between these three things. The attitude, like I said, you need to have a can do and I will do attitude. You need to have a good amount of communication skills, and you need to have strong fundamentals within any of the niche that you may pick to. Now, the general thought that every single student has is, the minute you perceive an IT based course, like say BVOC as a course or BCA as a course, you tend to think that you need to program. That's not the case. You can literally venture into design. Now within this design itself, that's like a gold mine. And the reason I call it a gold mine is you can literally recourse yourself the way you would like to, and I ideally, like, try to find something which is very close to your heart, something which you enjoy doing, and then work becomes play, honestly. So yeah, that's how I'd like to answer that particular question.
Thank you, Mr. Sridhar, for your motivational can do and will do attitude. Also, the importance of communication skill and strong fundamentals, which are necessary for any entry-level IT professional. Mr. Darshan, my next question is for you. As you have been working in the HR sector for a couple of years, what specific job profiles are highly sought after by the companies in Goa's IT industry?
Thank you, Ms. Annette. So, in the IT industry, right, and the good thing about the Goan IT industry is it's been ever expanding. It wasn't given a lot of thought a few years back, but over the last couple of years, I think there's been a dramatic change in how IT has been perceived in Goa, how the industry has been perceived in Goa. The various organizations that have been pushing to get IT to the fore and not just heavily rely on tourism as a means of growing our GDP. So, with the advent of realization, what has happened is more and more skill sets have come to the fore that companies are looking for. And the wonderful thing about Goa is because of the ability to communicate well, it is allowed us to be intertwined with a lot of countries abroad where we're able to service them due to that the possibility of communicating well. Now, with skill sets, there are a lot of companies and they've kind of built themselves a niche around certain technologies. There are companies who, maybe rely on Delphi, some on .NET, some on the more upcoming technologies, a few focused mainly on blockchain, maybe. So, as a career, right, you're going to try and divide opportunities into various brackets. Now, the most basic one, it's going to be becoming a software developer or a software engineer. Goan IT industry is often looking for skilled software developers, people who can design, develop, and maintain these software applications, maybe products they've built or products that they're servicing for their clients. Basic languages like Java or the more recent ones like Python, maybe PHP. These are the kind of technologies you're going to be looking at knowing, and the knowledge of frameworks and databases is highly valued. Another thing is web developers, people who can develop and build and maintain websites using technologies like HTML, CSS, or JavaScript, or even popular frameworks like React or Angular. This is something that's in demand because a lot of even traditional businesses are now moving online. And the first thing that they're going to need when they move online is a good, responsive, well-designed website. Good front-end development, good back-end development. Once they've gotten the website, obviously the next thing, and this is the third part of what I'd like to focus on, is mobile app development. So with the growing popularity of mobile applications, companies in Goa are seeking mobile app developers who can create native or even cross-platform apps for iOS and Android platforms. You would want to be proficient in programming languages like maybe Swift, Objective-C, or Kotlin, native. Knowledge of mobile app frameworks like React Native and Flutter are desirable. This is the in thing right now. This is what a lot of students are looking to upskill themselves about. But all of this doesn't really come together if the customer's experience is not paid heed to, if the aesthetics of the app or the mobile or the website are not really paid heed to. So there's a lot of demand for UI and UX designers right now. companies are emphasizing on the importance of user experience and user interface design. This is something that we do as a part of Organized Business Services, a company that I'm associated with. Our main aim is to improve customer experience from start to end at any touch point between the customer and our client. So UI and UX designers who can create intuitive, visually appealing and user-friendly interfaces are highly sought after. So you want to know or learn design tools like Adobe XD or Sketch or Figma, as well as maybe an understanding of user research and interaction design principles are valuable skills. Things that you can learn online, things you can hopefully also get to know as a part of your curriculum. Something that has taken up a lot of media space recently is data science and data analysis. So, like they say, data is the new oil. We are moving into that age where you're looking at companies use user data to bring out the best experience for themselves and also improve and increase value for the clients. You'd see apps like Cred, whose whole business model is based around data. So as data-driven decision-making becomes increasingly crucial, companies are seeking data scientists or data analysts who can extract insights from large data sets. So proficiency in programming languages like Python or R, or knowledge of statistical analysis, data visualization tools like Tableau or Power BI, experience with machine learning algorithms. These are things that are extremely valuable. Like my fellow panelist Chinmay mentioned, I think cybersecurity is something that's very important. With the advent of the GDPR, data protection being at the forefront for a lot of governments, privacy being a major agenda for governments across the world, especially after the whole, Cambridge Analytica and Facebook issue. I think cybersecurity specialists are going to be very, very sought after. So the rising concerns for data security, that's something that you'd want to focus on. Cloud architecture and engineers, this is something that companies in Goa are looking for, will only be looking to increase their, set of employees who are quite well versed with these skills. You've got DevOps engineers, or all these are mainly on the soft side. You will have a lot of network engineers and system administrators would be required to help with bringing about the infrastructure requirements for companies around here. So IT support specialist is going to be something that will be sought after as well. So all in all, I think the more emerging technologies are what Goa is also looking to adapt and use to its advantage. So for students who are a part of this discussion, I would suggest a bit of research. One way you can do it is you can go onto the websites of a lot of these IT companies that are popular in Goa, and they will have a careers page. The careers page will outline the kind of job openings that they have. And when you go and check these pages out, you're going to get an idea about the kind of roles that these companies are looking for. That allows you to make a decision on what is in demand and accordingly, kind of build out your roadmap to working towards a similar job opportunity. One thing I will stress on though is whatever it is that you learn as a part of your curriculum, I think continuous improvement and upskilling is going to become a norm. You may know one thing today, but there's a possibility that a few years from now, that one thing only may not be enough. You will need to know the second and the third thing. So I'd urge you, once you've got your basics right, once you've learned your base course material, please work on ensuring that you're constantly upskilling yourself, keeping in touch with the latest trends, and being part of organizations, networking organizations where you can learn and improve over time. So yeah, the more emerging technologies, I think, is what companies in Goa are looking for. Thank you, Annette.
Thank you, Mr. Darshan, for enlightening our audience about the spectrum of job profiles that are in demand in Goa's IT industry. Mrs. Ekta Agarwal, as you have been an educationist, how will the implementation of NEP impact the IT curricula like the BCA and BWOC programs? Ekta, you're not audible.
Thanks, Annette. I'm happy to take this question, especially because I can relate to it. So let me first start with the BWOC and then we come to the BCA. This is because BWOC was already following NEP to some extent. Now, let me just start with what is this National Skill Development Council. So we have, so India has a National Skill Development Council. This council has identified certain sector skills, right? So sector skills like IT, healthcare, logistics, different types of sectors. Now, for each sector, they have identified job roles, and based on these job roles, they have kind of formulated or curated something called as qualification packs. Now, I'm talking about this because what we do in the BWOC program, since it's a vocational program, so this program was any which way is focusing on skill development. So what we do here, what they do here at the BWOC program is that they offer certain qualification packs. So the advantage of this qualification pack was you know where you want to go. So you know you want to be a junior software developer, and then you kind of answer these qualification packs. So in the BWOC program, they identify certain qualification packs over a period of 3 years. These exams are conducted by NASSCOM, right? And they follow this NSQF framework. So National Skill Qualification Framework. And NASSCOM conducts these exams. And so these qualification packs actually encapsulate whatever a person would require for that specific job role, right? Suppose you're talking about desktop publishing, or suppose you're talking about UI or UX, then it encapsulates skills which are specific to that. And another very important thing about this BWOC program was that it has a mandatory internship, number of hours of internship which you need to do. So this is about the BWOC program. Now, conventionally, before NEP happened, before NEP was implemented, the BCA program, that is Bachelor in Computer Application, was following the choice-based credit system. However, they were offering subjects which were, which every student had to do any which ways, had to complete any which ways. So the curriculum was a little rigid. So you had to kind of do subjects like data structures, subjects like, operating systems, networks, whatever your end goal is, you had to cover all these subjects. And finally, you were given electives towards the end. So now with NEP coming into the picture, right from the first year, you have the option of selecting your majors. You have the option of selecting your minors. Besides this, you have an ability enhancement where you can select a language. You have a skill enhancement where you can select, of course, right, since this is going to be the first year, maybe not many options will be available. But however, it's a very welcome move, because even in the skill enhancement, at every point in time, the student can opt for certain subjects. And of course, they have value-added courses. So they have one very nice thing here is they have a multidisciplinary course. This particular course, the college is supposed to select a subject which the learner has not done in their higher secondary. So that's something very interesting. So if you come from a science background, you have the option to select economics as your value-added course here. So I think it's a very holistic approach where you get to it's a kind of a foundation year where you get to understand and explore different subjects, and at the same time you have the option to switch between majors and minors. So I think it's a very good move, and I'm sure the students will benefit from this. Especially, again, they have the multiple exit points, but more than that, I think it's the interdisciplinary subject options which they are allowed to take. I think that's what I have to say about this. Besides this, again, the internship. So earlier, though Damodar College was working very hard to, see to it that their students were doing some kind of an internship. The BCA program initially did not have this. However, as a part of the assignment, Damodar College has MOUs with different companies. We are one of their MOU partners. So there was a genuine effort where they would kind of encourage the students to come and do their internships. So that is one thing which is very nice. They do have here they have project mentorship by industry people, so they actually work on live projects. And I think this helps because many of the students get placed here directly in the companies where they're working on for their projects. So I think all in all, NEP is definitely going to kind of bridge the gap which I was speaking about between the industry and academia. We heard Darshan, we heard Sridat, we heard Chinmay. All of them have been talking about different technologies, and here is a chance where we get to kind of plug in majors and minors based on your choices. First of all, your choices and what the industry needs. So hoping that with NEP coming in, we will get more industry ready people to work for, so that learning and unlearning doesn't happen. That's it, Anna. If anybody would like to add to this.
Um, Thank you, Mrs. Ekta, for your in-depth overview of the integration of NEP with the BCA and BVOC programs, helping us in bridging the gap between academia and industry. My next question is for Mr. Chinmay. Are there any specific sectors within the IT industry that offers promising job opportunities in Goa?
Thank you, Ms. Annette. Uh, Again, a very good question. So now there is a perception. I would start my answer to your question with a perception which is going on in the minds of many aspirant students or parents. Okay, so the perception is that Goa is not widely recognized as a prominent IT hub as compared to other cities like Bangalore, Mumbai, where other big companies are there. Okay, but I'm into this industry for the last 6, 7 years now. Okay. I mean, I passed out in the year 2017 and immediately started. So it's been 6 years that I've been in this industry. And I would like to highlight a very important fact that the government of Goa has been helping IT companies in a long way by their startup policies, IT policies, which has given a major boost to IT companies who are operating here in Goa. So what the perception earlier was in the minds has been completely changed. I mean, I would like to strongly say this because it has helped us in a long way. Okay. Now, why I'm saying this is by with the government. Initially, when you start a company, it gets very difficult to manage your finances. So with the government's support, you are able to be there, hang in there, and grow yourself. So when you are there automatically after this thing has happened, there have been a lot of job opportunities that have been available right now because of this one major thing. So please do not think that there are no job opportunities. I would say as of today, in an organization like ours, I need around 5 to 8 people, but they have to be of the right caliber and skills. Okay, now how this particular job opportunity sector works is I would like to majorly tell you all. a company which is around 6 to 7 years old, okay, is at a position where you require someone who is minimum around 1.5 to 2 years experience. Okay. Otherwise, what happens it becomes difficult for us to train a fresher right from the start, because at this point of time you require someone who is quite experienced. But the other way around, if you look at it, I would again harp upon this point of internships, and this will help you also. Now, the moment you'll join college or you'll get into the IT sector, make sure that you'll do some kind of internships in the latest technologies, which is as Darshan rightly said, which is React, React Native, React.js Native, Angular. Do your internships in such technologies so that we as companies feel good that you have certain knowledge into this domain. And we don't even at that point of time, we don't even want that 1.5 to 2 years if you already have done an internship for about 6 months to 1 year, because we get at least some knowledge, a person who has some sort of knowledge, and we are good to get that person on board. So, and it becomes easier for us to hire also, because the interview process also becomes so smooth that we know that this person has a lot of knowledge in the IT domain. Okay, so this is a basic overview before I got into where the job opportunities are available. So a few sectors which I would like to focus on is, again, as Darshan said, mobile app development, software development. These are the sectors wherein we need people. So make sure that apart from these HTML, CSS technologies, make sure that you get again into these technologies like React, React Native, Angular JS, so that these are the in thing. Flutter is another technology what IT companies want people. There are not many Flutter developers available out there. We find it difficult. So make sure that you do your internship or you learn these languages if you wish to get into or find a job opportunity into software development or app development. Okay, this is one part. Next is again a similar subject like IT services and support. So IT services is in once a product is developed, a client requires always a service. I mean, what we do is once an app is developed, we get into a annual maintenance contract wherein you need post deployment services. So that is the time wherein we need people who are also available. I mean, people get into this kind of jobs wherein you service the client once a product is released. So you have to support them. There is a lot of maybe after your work hours you need to still be there, because an app sometimes is running on in a country which is not your time. So for example, we have developed an app for a client from the US. You need to be available in this domain. If you want to get in the support domain, then you have to be ready to work in that shift also, because that is a shift wherein you have to work as per the client. Next, again, I will not talk much about e-commerce and digital marketing because I already spoke on that. So, social media, digital marketing like SEO and everything is also an in thing, but you need to be very good at it. Okay, that is one topic where you need to learn properly and then only get into it, because that is a very vast subject. I mean, some people feel that digital marketing means social media. No, it involves a lot of things. Involves SEO, Google Analytics. You have to get into a lot of things. Only then you know what digital marketing is. So make sure you learn a lot and then get into it. And my the in thing in the IT domain now, and my major topic is about data analytics and business intelligence. So it is vast, majorly, and growing at a very vast pace. Data analytics. So make sure that one subject wherein I mean, as of today, there are a lot of job opportunities, but many people don't know what data analytics is. So make sure that you learn analytics right from the start and then approach. There are companies which are ready to hire you left and right, because that is something what many people again don't know. Okay, so that is my last topic, and that is my second last topic. And my last topic is outsourcing and IT enabled services. So some services which are in the vicinity of IT services are called as outsourcing and IT enabled services, wherein there are many clients require a manpower wherein they cannot make a product with the team what they have. So they require for support from different IT companies from all across the globe. So that is the time, that is another domain where you can work for a company who's into outsourcing. So this is the major overview of the question asked by Ms. Annette. So yes, that's about the question.
Thank you, Mr. Chinmay, for clarifying on the role played by the government in helping startup IT companies in Goa and on the importance of undertaking internships with latest technologies. Mr. Sridhar, can you give examples of any successful IT professional who have achieved remarkable career growth and what can we learn from their journey?
Great, thank you so much for that. I do have one personal favorite who's made great progress in an IoT based product. The product right now is called as Bolt IoT. Initially, the company was running with the name Inventrom Robotics in 2011, 2012. Around then, I think they were quite famous about doing workshops. The founders are Pranav Kundekar and Onkar Naik. Both of them come from a branch which is like kind of related to IT, electronics and telecommunication. They started their early career with a job. Then, in within IT itself, they ventured into quality assurance. This is where they took the plunge into entrepreneurship completely. And back then, it was just Internet of Things, or IoT as we call it, being a thing that was getting introduced, and many different boards were coming out, and they just jumped on that opportunity. And the way they pivoted themselves was not to create a product right away, but rather to learn everything within the new space and conduct workshops, which is to go to colleges, inside a lot of interest within folks, and make them build stuff. So when we are talking about building stuff, can be a remote control car that you can build, or it can be a drone that you can build. Those are the kind of workshops that they created. And eventually they landed up with an idea that they can do home automation and create this product where, at the touch of a button from your mobile phone, in an app, you can control things in your house, be it the AC, be it a bulb, or anything basically that can be powered through um, this particular product. Another journey that constantly inspires me is of a junior. Name again is Samantha. The surname I've forgotten, unfortunately. But the way she began her career was, she got started with something in design first. She pivoted herself into web design, from design. Back in the early stages of her career, she would just do abstract designs or caricatures and things like that. Then she pivoted herself into web design. And then once she found out, while working at a company, she found out the overall structure of a company, which consists of many different levels. There's management, there's quality assurance, there's design, there's programming. She pivoted herself completely into project management. And this, of course, is resounding with what Darshan Garodia sir shared earlier. You have to look for opportunities within the career that you are trying to align yourself with, and have to continuously improve and learn. So she was able to take up a course on project management, complete that certification. And that also means, you change your career lines completely. At the same time, your remuneration that you get paid out, that also changes. So that inspired me a lot. Another example again is, again, I'm just gonna try to fall back on programming, which is like the major thing that we constantly talk about within Goan IIT. There are much lesser opportunities when we look at the other side of things, but slowly it is emerging, which is a great thing. Um, so when you look at programming now, you may look at the most recent buzzwords that are out there. Somebody will say Flutter, somebody will say React, somebody will say Next.js, somebody will say AngularJS. You will hear all of these words for you. So as long as your fundamentals are clear, and the fundamentals again are going to be JavaScript or TypeScript. If you are well versed in the fundamentals, automatically it becomes like these vast array of frameworks become accessible for you, and people have made great career within these individual frameworks. So if you were to give a broad range also, like, on what people get paid, you can get started with a salary of 6 lakh rupees as an entry career, and there's virtually no limit because the boundaries now are broken. You're not just working within Goa, but you can work. I mean, if you're well versed in a particular area, you can pretty much do job for a German company or an American based company. Of course, you have to adjust yourself with the kind of day shifts that they have. The day for them will mean a completely different thing. And at the same time, if you just fall back on, let's say, desktop based development, like, where a lot of the users in the world basically are relying on, maybe, let's say, Linux or Windows more than the Unix flavors of operating systems. I would say anywhere around specializing those technologies, though stale or though old, they grab a lot of attention and grab a lot of value. So one friend of mine, like, who was employed with one of the companies that I worked earlier on, he did a certification for Windows-based libraries, which would allow him to write drivers. We might have heard about drivers, like, you get a printer in your house and you want to install a driver, and then you want to get started with printing stuff or scanning stuff on that particular device. So he specialized in driver instructions, and he was placed in AMD, which is again a major giant that we have in the hardware space. And I think there's virtually no limit in terms of the money that he can make. The last I spoke to him, he was making around 1 CR or 1.5 CR a year. Things may have changed, like, because it's almost like 3 years now that I've spoken to him. Another greater example that I can give around Windows libraries, and again, technologies in here can differ quite a bit. It can be C or C++, or it can be even um, I think byte, not byte level code, but there's another programming language which can be used to produce software overall. So this guy, he pivoted himself into more of like writing desktop based application, and he ventured into a job with Adobe, and he was an expert in doing exports basically. So he would literally take any sort of format that Adobe products usually produce, be it XD, be it InDesign, Photoshop, and you can take it from the usual format that you have into some other format. And this guy literally learned the art of Windows libraries, and the way to do all sorts of bridges between two different applications. And he was also a similar case. So I think in a broader sense, we can really pivot ourselves in the niche that we figured out. Now, I given greater examples in terms of programming. You can similarly expect, like a thing happening within cloud computing as well. Now, within cloud computing, there are like various different arrays of offerings that you can align yourself with. Maybe you are aligning towards AI, or maybe you're aligning towards data, or maybe you're aligning towards network specialization, or maybe you're aligning towards DevOps. All of these are like niches in which you can certify yourself, gain more knowledge, gain more depth per se, and have a greater career. And there have been like fantastic examples in each of these various niches that I just mentioned. Like, again, programming example that I could closely see people getting transformed into, I was able to mention very quickly. But you get the sense that you can literally go deeper into the field that you're in and gain more value out of that insight that you have. Now, how do you source all of this information? Of course, you will be subjected to a lot of self learning in the first go. you'll be out there on YouTube or maybe like using any other blog to consume content. Instagram definitely does not become a great way of consuming content. So um, keep it for socials, not for any serious stuff that you want to do in your career. Of course, you'll find great people do great stuff, but that's just their way of making a portfolio for themselves or showing the world what they know. And people have literally landed into jobs using that as well. So if you are somebody who is interested in being a freelancer, of course showcase your work, whatever that you're doing, and that can be for you a GitHub portfolio or something on Instagram or something that goes on a website or a blog which is written by you. At the same time, if you have been following a particular trend, let's say AI, security, crypto, there are various different blogs that are out there that you can find out. Keep reading through, keep consuming content which is very relevant. You'll discover more and more topics. Be thorough with the news that comes out in each of these niches, so that you can pivot yourself into that particular direction and do your research, because all that it takes, like I said, like self research and self orientation is what takes you ahead. Yeah, I think that's Saish. I think Saish has a question, so maybe we can keep this for last, Saish, if you don't mind. I think there are a couple of other questions that Miss Annette has to go through. But yeah, so and I would like to conclude saying that, like, if you're following a particular trend, also always look for information from the blogs or resources that are given out by that particular company itself. For example, if you're following Instagram and how Instagram was built, Instagram has a great engineering blog for themselves. If you are looking at crypto exchanges or any of the exchanges that the Indian stock market has and how they are built, they will have their own individual tech blogs as well. So these are just some examples that I can give in which students can get familiar and get more info from. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sridat, for inspiring our audience with the numerous journeys of IT professionals that have tasted success. The last question is for Mr. Darshan. Apart from technical skills, what soft skills are employers looking for in IT professionals? Can you just brief us, because we are running short of time?
Surely, no problem, Anat. I'll keep this as short as possible. But it is a very important question, though. A lot of students here to know about technical skills. What they fail to realize is employers in the IT industry are increasingly recognizing the importance of soft skills for their professionals. These skills are crucial for effective communication, collaboration, problem solving, and overall professional success. So, normally, when we're talking about soft skills, the first thing that comes to anybody's mind, for a lot of occasions, the only thing that comes to a lot of people's minds is communication. Now, that is the number one skill. Strong communication skills are highly valued in the IT industry. This includes the ability to articulate technical concepts to non-technical stakeholders, because a lot of times you're going to be dealing with clients who are not technically aware. Active listening will be important, because whenever they want to achieve something, they're going to try and explain that to you, and you'll have to know what they want. And you will have to be very good with clear written and written communication for documentation and for collaboration. But apart from communication, there are a lot of other skills that are important that will fall under the soft skills bracket. For the lack of time, I won't elaborate, but I'll just head them out to you. One of them is going to be adaptability. Because it's dynamic and constantly evolving, you will have to adapt to newer technologies over time. Problem solving in the IT industry is extremely important, because there will be complex problems that require critical thinking and analytical skills. So the ability to approach these problems systematically will be important, breaking them down into manageable components, and then you're developing accordingly. The future is collaboration. So collaboration is something that's very important. IT projects typically involve cross-functional teams and require collaboration among colleagues, clients, and stakeholders. So being in sync is extremely important. Time management, delivering your products on time, ensuring that commitments that are made are adhered to, meeting these deadlines is essential. A lot of companies are looking for leadership among their employees. Now, this may not necessarily be in a formal leadership role, but IT professionals are often expected to take initiative, guide others, especially when they've got people coming on as interns or relatively new people being onboarded for companies to drive projects forward. So ability to lead is important. Something new is emotional quotient, emotional intelligence. So strong emotional intelligence involves being aware of one's emotions and those of the others around you. Being in sync with your team is going to be essential. Continuous learning, something that I've already broached upon. You have to keep learning as you go by. And I think the last but most important thing after communication is integrity and professionalism. So employers are looking for IT professionals to demonstrate a high ethical standard. They can maintain confidentiality, especially because of the kind of projects that they're going to be taking on for their clients. And they need to exhibit professionalism in their conduct, both within the organization and with external stakeholders, because if you do not behave professionally with your employer's clients, it can have a very, very negative impact on how that project then goes forward, whether the client considers the same company again to help them with constant support or for the next product they're coming out with. So it's important to note that the specific soft skills valued may vary depending on organization to organization, depending on roles, or depending on the industry. But it's advisable to research and tailor your soft skills to match the specific requirements and values of the prospective employer that you're looking to join. That's it, Annette.
Thank you, Mr. Darshan, for focusing on the various skills such as adaptability, problem solving using critical thinking, cross collaboration, time management, leadership, emotional intelligence, continuous learning necessary for today's IT professionals. We come to an end with the panel discussion. A very big thank you to all the panelists for providing valuable inputs and insights on various issues related to the IT sector. I'm sure the audience has a lot to take away from the panel discussion. A feedback link has been shared in the chat box. Audience has to give your valuable feedback to get an e-certificate. Now we'll start with the question and answer session. The first question is where we will get placements, like which state after BCA, and what will be the package? This is open to any panelist. Any of the panelists can answer this. Where we will get placements, like which state after BCA, and what will be the package? Any of the panelists can answer.
I can take that. Thank you for that question. May I know who's the person's name who has asked this question?
Annette, what is the name of the student who has asked the question?
And I think that's fine. So I think it all boils down to the kind of expertise that you bring to the table. Like I mentioned, so if you start with something like, let's say, in programming itself, while you're learning your curriculum, of course, these will be like fundamentals that you're taught that are very, very, very necessary for you to begin a career in IT. And along with that, if you have a self-motivated nature, let's say you want to become a web developer, and or maybe a mobile developer, and let's say you picked on technologies like React or Angular or Flutter for say. Um, if you're decent enough, I think the salary can begin somewhere around 6 lakhs. That's the norm. That's the industry norm. That is what we are saying at least. But I think if you are like a little less informed or more informed, things can move up and down, and also it depends on the hirer. So there's not like a perfect figure that we can put on that particular question. But if you want to know the salary trends, then there are some portals that are out there named as Glassdoor or Indeed, which kind of gives you like the medians, like what the start range of the salary is and what the top range of the salary is. Of course, this is people contributed. Some people might be just adding data for the sake of it. Some people might be adding real data, but that just has to taken with a pinch of salt. And you have to value yourself for the kind of experience that you bring into the table. I hope that answers the question.
Thank you, Mr. Sridhar. Our next question is for Mr. Sumit Kumar. It's by Mihir. Can I fill the admission form online?
Hello, thanks for the question. Yeah, admission form will be available online. Portal is not yet open. It will be through DHE online portal. So once that portal will be active, we will on our website we'll put the notification, as well as I'll recommend that everyone should go through the portal of DHE every day. I think I have answered the question.
Thank you, Mr. Sumit. The next question is by Ms. Asata. Is BCA degree a 4-year or a 3-year program? Principal ma'am can answer this question. Since ma'am has left the session due to some priority work, Mr. Sumit can take over the question.
Yeah, BCA actually now from this year under NEP it is of 4 years. But if anyone wishes to leave BCA without honors degree, they can leave after 3 years. But that will be just a BCA degree without any honors. Without honors, 4th year is actually honors year. Yeah, that's it.
The next question is by Daksh Lotlikar. Again, this goes out to the panelists. I have interest in automobile sector. So can I go to automobile through IT? I'll repeat the question. I have interest in automobile sector. So can I go to automobile through IT? Any of the panelists can take up the question.
I'd like to answer that if that's fine. And
Yeah,
the rest
sure.
of the panelists also, I think you guys can add
Yes.
to what I'm saying. So yes is the answer. You can take inspiration from Mercedes or even any large automobile organization which is using a lot of electronics within their products. Now you look at look at a product by Mercedes, or you look at a product by Hyundai, or you look at a product by Maruti. A lot of them are already trying to incorporate lot of automation within their products. Maybe closing the doors with a gesture, or like opening the sunroof with a gesture. Those are the kind of things that is where IT comes in strongly. But now if you ask what does it take and how do they place you, you'll have to go to their careers page, find out what exactly are they offering, and that becomes for you the final destination, if that's how you want to align yourself taking this particular course. And whatever that it may take, be it learning embedded programming, or maybe learning IoT stuff, that's all that will take you there honestly for a job. because the curriculum is only going to expose you to fundamentals. The industry connect is also going to be like limited. Like Goa as an IT, Goan IT industry at the moment is not exposed to like doing automation within automobile sector. I'm hoping that it happens sooner rather than later. Touch wood. But whenever that you're trying to envision, maybe anything like tomorrow somebody will have a question like whether they can venture into banking industry or maybe insurance industry after doing an IT career. Yes is the answer. You'll have to check for specific roles that they hire within the IT department for their company or for the industry that they are in. And then you try to pivot yourself for whatever that it takes to fit that role.
I'd like to add a point here, another dimension to what Sridath has said. So basically, maybe you can you can consider product design. So after we have 3D design here, we have 3D design, simulation, modeling, and things like that. So after a BCA program, there are a lot of universities providing masters in product design. So maybe that is one area through which you can get into the automobile industry. So they have softwares like SolidWorks and all, where you design the product and then simulate the product. So maybe that is one way of getting into that track.
Thank you, Mr. Sridhar and Mrs. Ekta. The next question is by Smita Negvi. Is BCA degree better than BWOC in terms of as a degree and for job prospects? Mr. Sumit can take up this question. Is BCA degree better than BWOC in terms as a degree and for job prospects? Mr. Sumit Kumar.
Both BC and BWOC, they are almost equivalent, but again, it depends on what you are interested into. As it was mentioned in the panel discussion that BWOC is having qualification pack, it follows NSQF, and wherein BCA, all different subjects are there, but at the end, you will have the skills over there also. But BWOC is more focused on different qualification pack in every semester. So with both of the degree, you have equal job prospects. So you should first have go through the details of the courses and the objective of both the programs, and then you can decide accordingly. But frankly speaking, both have good opportunity in IT industry. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sumit. The next question is for the panelists again. I want to become an UI UX designer. What are the requirements? This question is by Dhruv Naik.
I think I'll take that up. To become a UI UX designer is an in thing again in the tech industry. So now what happens is if you have that mindset of becoming a UI UX, you need to be very creative as far as the design part is concerned. You need to know or you need to envision what the client feels and what he envisions his product to be. So you have to understand the requirement first and you need to correlate with whatever requirements he is having. So you need to be very minutely working with him, even as close to the font sizes, the text, and everything. So first comes your creative skills. Whenever I mean, you need to be someone who has been into art or been creative right from the start, and you need to think in that manner. Okay, so that is one thing. And second thing, as I said about the client, you need to closely work with the client and put it forward to the client that this is what you have done, and accordingly you will be the mediator between the developer. So there is a dev team, development team, and the client. So you're the middle person. So you need to convince both these people, the developer and the client, why you have done that and what is your end goal about the UI UX part. So make sure that your design skills are very good. Okay, there are a lot of places where you can places as in a lot of software where you can learn UI UX. That is a common example is Figma, where you can learn that. And post your UI UX, what you have to do is you have to make sure now UI is basically your user interface, okay, and UX is user experience. So you have to also make sure that your the client users, whoever are going to use the app, they have to be very smooth. When the user experience would be so smooth that your end goal, I mean, if it's maybe a ticket booking app, there should be minimum steps to reach your end goal, that is to book a ticket. So once that is done, or rather that is achieved, when after your UI is done, you need to go into prototyping of a product, so prototyping of that app. So when the prototype is done and the client and the developer is convinced, okay, this is the easiest and a very smooth flow, then your experience also will become smooth. So make sure that this all these things are kept in mind before you get into UI UX.
Again, I'd like to add a point here. So I'll start first by my sharing my compliments to the team, to Sumit and his team. So we've hired a couple of graphic designers from the BWalk program, and they're doing a phenomenal job. Very nice thing about the BWalk program is that they have people from the industry teaching them. So they have a very senior faculty, Mr. Sandesh, who's teaching them UI UX. And I must say, the interns who worked with me, we really didn't have to kind of. They were just ready to ready to deliver what the client wants. So in terms of course that was graphic design, but I'm sure a BWalk program can be a stepping stone over there. Yeah.
I'd like to chime in as well, Anand. I think what is going to differentiate a lot of businesses, a lot of companies, a lot of apps, a lot of websites from each other is going to be the experience and the interface that you create for the user. Like Chinmay mentioned, I think the ability to move from point A to point Z with minimal interruption is what's going to result in the right experience. So being creative, extremely important, especially for the UI element, but also knowing design principle, I think, to be able to take your customer from point A to Z with minimal amount of clicks is important. So like you mentioned, what are the requirements? I think you need to be inherently creative, and also constantly keep exploring a lot of these apps that you have right now, a lot of these websites, and see how they've been transforming over time to improve customers' experiences.
Thank you, the panelists, for all the answers. The next question is for Mrs. Ekta Agarwal. What higher degrees can one pursue after BWalk and BCA? What higher degrees can one pursue after BWalk and BCA?
Actually, anybody could have taken it, but yeah, I'm happy to take it. So you have your MSc IT. You have, again, it depends on which line, the vertical mobility in which area, in which niche you want. Earlier, Sridat and Chinmay have told us about the different areas. So there are specific master's programs now in data sciences. There are PG programs. So I think, it entirely depends. And the IT industry now doesn't really count on the degrees, but it counts on the certifications. So if the skill, basically it's the skill it entirely depends on the line the person chooses. There are a lot of master's programs. So MSc IT is an option. MBA, if you want to diversify into management, then it's MBA. Then you have masters. You have your MCA program, and under MCA programs also there are different kind of specializations. If you're looking at options abroad, then you specifically have master's programs and PG programs in data analytics, in cybersecurity. Especially in cybersecurity, I think there's a college in Pune which offers masters in cybersecurity. So there is a BSc also in cybersecurity in one of these colleges. So there are a lot of options. Entirely depends on now, if you are looking at cloud, then I think more than the degrees, it would be a certification from Azure or a certification from AWS. So they have their own, they have their own certifications and they have their own roadmap. So it entirely depends. Again, there are a lot of design courses here. If you're looking at UI, UX and product design and things like that, there are a lot of master's programs which they can follow. Maybe Sridat or Darshan can add to this.
Yeah, I would say virtually there's no limit, as long as like the next program is like not considering certain prerequisites. But for the major part of it, if we were to look at some sort of an experience in between bachelor programs as well, that is also considered to be a smoother transition, and that is what I am a product of as well. Like, and I completed BSc Computer Science, took almost 2 years into IT, then tried to pivot into a master program. Again, it was Master of IT that I did in Chogale College itself. Both the degrees had been done in Chogale College itself, but it did not really have like a prerequisite. Any bachelor's degree was the ask, and if people were coming from commerce background, or if people were coming from arts background, of course they're gonna find it difficult, much difficult than the people who had like computer science or IT background. But yeah, I think that kind of resounds the overall thought that one should have, like, to move ahead.
And if I may add, like it's been mentioned, it may not be a prerequisite. What is always suggested is while you're doing a BCA, you also try to get a bit of practical experience, try to build up a portfolio of your own, try to make certain apps, softwares, etc., that can showcase your abilities to your prospective employer, your GitHub repository, the kind of work you're doing. I think that will speak much, much more than, especially in terms of employability, than just a degree that you mentioned in your resume. So I think things are moving towards being more practical now, where you can showcase your ability rather than just show a basic CV.
Thank you, panelists, for your answers. Due to shortage of time, I'll take the last question. The other questions can be answered offline. So I want to go to cyber security field. Basically, want to pursue cyber security field, but don't know what to choose: BWOC or BCA. So any of the panelists can answer.
Well, I can take that up. So fundamentally, looking at any program, any bachelor's program, be it BWOC or BCA, it's only going to get you started with an education, with the fundamentals in IT. Now, this is a niche that you've picked up. So, and to expect a college to basically build a curriculum around cybersecurity at the very bachelor level is like trying to teach advanced level stuff for beginners, which is not what is expected. So I would definitely say after your BVOC or BCA gets completed, and while your BVOC and BCA is in progress, you will need to align yourself with certain courses that you can learn and get certified. And once you have that traction, automatically you'll pave your way out. So let's say you want to become a penetration tester, or like somebody who's a specialist in providing like some sort of security solutions for all deployments that they do, or maybe you specialize in cloud computing security per se. Now each of these can be perceived in various different direction. Maybe you're a person who can be consulted for Linux based environments, or maybe you are a person who can work well with Google Cloud or Amazon Web Services. Now you get the point. Overall, these are like various different areas you can pivot yourself as a specialization. And finally, all that you have to figure out is, how do I get there? You can get in touch with any of us. I can definitely send some first starting points for you to align your career. But I think in a later stage you will definitely need a person who's like deep into that particular career itself. So this is where your communication skills are going to help you building a portfolio for yourself, or you even doing a LinkedIn profile and trying to reach out to people who are within cybersecurity or security field in general overall, like, to be like the mentor who you constantly will need to reach to the final destination for you. I hope that answers the question. Anybody else would like to add anything here?
Maybe I think they have cybersecurity as one of the electives later, so that will give them an introduction to what cybersecurity is. And as far as I know, how Damodar College conducts the program is over a period of the next 2-3 years, they invite specialists from each of these domains, and you get a chance to interact with these people. So I guess once you get started, there will be somebody or the other who will whom you can connect to, who can kind of give you the path to follow.
Thank you, panelists, for your answers. So we have come to an end to the question and answer session. Thanks again. A feedback link has been shared in the chat box. Participants or other audience, please fill in the form to get e-certificates. Requesting everyone to turn on their cameras for a group photograph. I need your help. Audience, please turn on your cameras for a group photograph. We now move ahead with the vote of thanks, requesting our Vice Principal, Dr. Edwin Barreto, to propose the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is my privilege to propose the vote of thanks at the flag end of today's panel discussion and acknowledge the contribution of all those who have made this session possible. We at Damodar College regularly conduct various student activities, and today's session is a testimony of the same. At the outset, I would like to thank our panelists, Chinmay Kamath, Ekta Agarwal, Shree Zambodkar, and Darshan Goradia, for their valuable inputs and guiding the students on the opportunities in the IT sector. We look forward for more future interactions and sessions on a regular basis. I would also like to express my gratitude towards my management and my principal for their constant encouragement and always backing us to conduct various activities and initiatives for the students. I also extend my deep sense of appreciation to all the faculty members from the Department of Computer Science and the technical staff for organizing today's session for the aspiring students intending to join the BCA and the BVOC program. My sincere gratitude to all the aspiring students for your presence and active participation through the questions asked. We at Damodar College look forward to see all the aspiring students attending today's session in the BCA and the BVOC program. Once again, thank you all for your presence and have a nice day. Thank you.
Over here, I'll just want to mention one thing. I know that there were quite a lot of questions we have received in chat box and from YouTube also, but due to lack of time, we could not take all the questions. But it doesn't mean that we are ignoring your questions. You can contact us through messages, and then we'll get back to you through the which will solve your problems or queries. Okay. So thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Edwin. Yeah. Thanks to all for your valuable feedback, yes, and input, and for attending the session. Have a good day.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Wishing the students all the best. Bye-bye. Thanks so much.